Hello everyone and welcome to this new video. Today we're gonna look at some of my games of the EGC Masters Winter. So I tried to qualify for this event and I found it very interesting to watch my games and to analyze it in order to improve in the game. And I found that this is very interesting to show you in a video. How can I improve? How can I watch my games? How can I analyze it? Maybe it will inspire you, maybe it will help you getting better in the game. So yeah, that's what I will do here. I will do a series of video of all my games that I played on this tournament, on the qualifiers. So yeah, this will be very cool in order to improve in the game. So here I was playing the French against Backmogoon, sorry, the Japanese player now. He's playing the Japanese on this map because this is a very good civilization, because you have those fishing boats that cost less wood. I think it's 45 instead of 75. And why am I playing the French? Because the French are very good on water right now, not on full water, but on the maps like this, on 4 lakes. This is pretty good because you kind of want to do some docks. And what is very interesting is that the docks gives you 10 population. So I don't have to do any houses at the beginning of the game. I only have to make docks, and then I get a little bit of wood back, of course, because I don't have to do my houses. So I have 50 wood more to do, for example, the fishing boats, etc. So I will put the villagers so you can see exactly what is going on with the villagers. If you want to see exactly how you have to put your villagers in order to do the right build order. So yeah, Backmogoon is a very good opponent. I'm approximately top 300, I think, on the ladder, and Backmogoon is more like 150, I think. Yeah, so I'm Kong 3 approximately. I'm not very far from Kong 3, and Backmogoon is Kong 3. And yeah, this will be very interesting to see and watch exactly what is wrong with my games in order to improve. So the beginning of the game is quite alright. I will speed it up for the beginning because, well, there is not so much of mistakes here. I put my dock very near from the deep fish water. Why? Because, well, you can gather more, of course, because your fishing boats do not do a long travel time. And what I can say first is that the beginning of the game for the French is kind of difficult because you have the shinobi in front of you, and so you have to be careful. You don't have to be sabotage on your docks. This is pretty important. And what is also very important is that you have to do your knight in order to counter the shinobi. And the second thing that is very important in this game is that you have to be careful about the H3 of the Japanese, because if they have mounted samurais, this will be very difficult. And as they have a better bonus on the water because they have fishing boats for less money, then they will be H3 sooner than you in theory. So this is something that you have to be careful about, but the French have some answer to it, because you can have those crossbowmen that are very strong with the French. So if you go H3, it's kind of okay, and that's what is my plan. My plan, sorry, in this game. I wanted to go H3 at the same time as him, and yeah, try to do a lot of crossbowmen, and the crossbowmen can help me very much on this game. So this is not crossbowman because this is the French one, so this is arbalétrier. Yeah, French people are special, you know that. So yeah, if you want to see my gameplay, don't hesitate to go and watch it on Twitch. I'm streaming in French, but you can see my gameplay if you want. You can see directly the games if you're interested in that. So yeah, I'm a French content creator, and the first mistake I was doing is losing villagers against the shinobi. I should have known that, and I feel like my villagers were not very well placed in this game, because you can see that I have a lot of wood for nothing. I don't have any food, and the first night that is coming is a little bit too late. I think I should have put more villagers on food at the beginning while I was going H2 in order to have the knights sooner and in order to have the defense here to protect my goal. If I had the knight here, there wouldn't have been this outpost that is annoying me very much, and I have to go here on the gold, so this is pretty difficult to protect, of course. 2 shinobis here, and my knight is quite okay to deal with this, so this is pretty cool. And what I like is that I did the docks on 3 lakes, so this is pretty cool. This is what you kind of want. And also I immediately do those galley in order to protect the lakes. So this is pretty important. If you are on this map, this is very, very important to have this. So yeah, my first mistake is about the knight. I don't have a good timing on this, so I have to be careful about how I put my villagers. When I go H2, I think I have to let like 4 or 5 villagers on food. And yeah, maybe 4 villagers on gold is okay, and the rest on the wood. And then I can do the galley here. I can protect. This is pretty cool. I do here some fishing boats. Maybe I will try to come here at some point, I think. And what is interesting is that I have this galley here in order to protect. So I have 3 lakes. So this is very, very nice. But as I lost the control of the gold because I didn't have that knight, well, it's kind of annoying. But I do some outpost here to protect my villagers. This is pretty cool, because I know there is shinobis, and the shinobis are quite annoying. I think I delay too much also my archers. I think I have to do some archers here because there will be some spearmen, and the spearmen can be annoying here. And also I can use more of my knights in order to do damage on the wood lane. So this could be very interesting because I have very good unit in order to avoid my opponent to go too fast H3. Maybe also to do damage here. I kill the villagers here, so it's okay. Kind of cool. And he's preparing here his H3 with those mounted samurai. And yeah, this is a very big mistake that I made. I did my galley, but I forgot to use the patrol. And the patrol is very, very important. So if you don't know what is the patrol, I will explain it to you. The patrol is something that you can use in order that your unit, well, moves like this. Like if you can use the shift click also with the patrol, so you can patrol on a lot of you can patrol on a long range of on the map. So this is pretty interesting. Sorry, I'm not an English person, so sometimes I lack of vocabulary. I'm a French guy, and I try to do some stuff in English in order to share my knowledge on AoE4. Try to share the stuff. So yeah, sorry about that. Sometimes I will lack of words. So this is very, very cool in order to protect something. Like for example, on this lake, this is very cool because if the opponent comes and put a dock here, well, my galley will focus the villager and the villager will die, and then the dock will not appear here. And so I'm kind of protected about that. But here I forgot about it. I forgot to do the patrol, and then the villagers can build the dock. And if you can build the dock, then it's kind of annoying because I have to do a lot of boats in order to counter that dock. And he can do, like, for example, 1 or 2 boats, and I have to do more in order to counter him. So this is what is very important in this map. You have to control the water, and you have to do not let your opponent do the dock. Because if a dock is here, you have to invest more in order to counter what he is doing. So you're losing a lot of resources because you do more boats. This is very, very important to understand that. So this is a major mistake here from me to forget about the patrol. You can also do it with your normal units, like for example your knights, your spearmen. You can do it, for example, here. You do a patrol here, and if there is a unit of your opponent that is going here, then your unit will attack it and protect the area. So this is very important to use it if you have some interest, and the most important is, I think, on water, in order to prevent the docks of your opponent. But you know, sometimes the spearman can be very dumb. I have to say that it that way, because this is kind of stupid. If you let your spearman here, for example, and there is a charge of cavalry, the spearman will stay here. While if you're doing the patrol, he will protect your villagers better. So you can use it also in this way. You can also do it, a little tip also. What is very interesting about the patrol, I try to help you improve also in the game, so this is pretty interesting. For example, if you know that your opponent can be on this gold or this gold, for example, you can use, for example, your scout or a horseman or a knight, whatever unit, and you do patrol between here and here. And so your unit will scout the 2 gold, and then you see if your opponent is going on that gold, and then you're controlling the different resources of the map. So you can do it on the gold, you can do it on the berries, you can do it, of course, on the deers, etc. And as I said before, you can use the shift click also in order to patrol on different areas. So for example, on this gold, and for example, this gold also, with also this berry bush, etc. And you can use it with the shift click, so you have a list of command, and this is very, very interesting. So yeah, this is a little stuff that I wanted to talk about in order for you to improve. And what I really like of what I'm doing is that I try to be everywhere at the same time. This is pretty interesting on this map, because you have to put pressure everywhere, and that's the main strength of French. I didn't talk too much about that. I talked about the strength of Japanese, about the H3, about the fishing boats, etc. But the strength of the French is also, of course, the dock, but it's not as effective as the fishing boats of the Japanese. And the very good strength about French is that they have Royal Knights in H2, and you have your building, your landmark, that is doing that. You can directly do Royal Knights that counters the shinobis, so you can have the pressure on the map. You can put a lot of damage into your opponent, and I didn't use it that much. I said it before, I could have used more of my knights in order to do damage on the gold, to do damage also on the wood, so this is pretty bad from me. And here, because there is the dock, I have to do a warcog, and as he's doing a war junk, I also have to do a demolition ship. That's what I was talking about before. This is pretty annoying, especially because he has 2 docks now. So I kind of lose a lot of resources here. He's doing an H3, and I'm very far from doing it because of this, actually. So this is very interesting to understand that. Very bad charge here, but I counter him with the archers. I use my archers in order to counter the war junk. This is very, very cool. And I use all my knights in order to destroy the dogs. So this is very important also to notice. My opponent is doing an H3 while I'm not. So I have the control of the map. So I have to use it in order to deal damage to my opponent. And the damage here, I choose it here. I have to take the control of the lake, because if I have the control of 3 lakes and he has the control of only 1, I have the advantage on the resources. That's the main point of my idea here, but I have to be careful about one thing. And this thing, I talked about it before, is the mounted samurai, because he's H3 and I'm not at all. I'm very far from being H3. So this is the main stuff that I have to be careful about. And the first thing that I want to do is a barracks, because I have to do spearmen in order to counter those mounted samurais. If he does some samurais, the infantry units, then it's okay, because I have the knights, so I can deal with them. It's kind of okay. But if there is mounted samurai, the mounted samurai will destroy my knights, because they are H3, and because they are mounted samurai, they have the diffractive armor. This is very, very strong, so I have to be careful about it. And the main mistake I'm doing here is that I'm just not doing a barrack. This is not cool at all. I have to do it right now in order to protect my villagers from my opponent. What I do good is the fact that I immediately put all my villagers on food and on gold in order to go H3 as soon as I can, in order to have units to counter those mounted samurais, those onabugeishas that my opponent can do. So in order to do arbitrary, of course, but also to have the upgrades on the veteran for the knights, and also to have those spearmen that are veteran. So this is pretty important here about that. I tried to use a villager here to put a dog, but he saw it, so this is a pretty good move from him. Even if that was a good try from me, I'm really happy to have tried it, even if it doesn't work. It's pretty important to notice it. And as you can see, the galley here destroyed the villagers because I'm on a patrol. So this is very, very important to notice here. Don't forget about the patrol. Here I'm doing a barrack, but it's pretty late. I didn't have my hardened technology, so this is pretty bad. And now I have to be very careful about this raid. I will lose a lot of villagers because of that. And this is the timing that you have to be careful about in this matchup, because, well, the Japanese has too much of good units and you're not H3, so you have to be careful about it. I talked about it before. They kind of want more the H3 than you, so most of the time they will be H3 before you, and if they are H3, you have to be very careful. Use your spearmen to protect you, and also maybe try to use 1 or 2 knights in order to do damage also on the villagers. The main issue here, I used some knights to do damage, but I didn't manage to find any damage, and that's not cool for me, of course. He defended very well without making any outpost, anything. So this is pretty annoying for me. You kind of want, as French, to force your opponent to do some defense at some point. But my opponent is doing none, and I didn't manage to find any damage. So this is the main issue here, because I didn't put enough efforts by microing those knights. This is a pretty bad mistake. Here I did 2 outposts. This is pretty cool, but I cannot put all my villagers inside of it, so I lost so many villagers to this. This is a horrible mistake from me. A little wall here, for example, a little wall here and a little wall here would have been perfect in order to counter this raid. Don't hesitate to do some walls. I forgot about making walls, and this is a horrible mistake. And here, as I waited too long in order to go H3, now he has a very good army against my army that is not teched at all. So I don't have any technologies from H3. I just went H3, but I don't have anything. And so he can use this timing to do a lot of damage to me. And this is very, very annoying from me. I try to recover from it. I have more economy than him, so I can lose a little bit of economy, of course. Here I'm not losing any villagers. All my villagers are working, so it's quite okay, I feel like. But the problem is that I can't deal with this army. So I have the control of 3 lakes. It's kind of okay, but I have to protect myself right now. And as you can see, it's very, very difficult. And now I'm starting to lose villagers, and I cannot put them all in the town center. And I lose all my units. It's very, very difficult. And now we are even in villagers, in economical count. So this is quite annoying. What you can do in this situation, and I clicked it, but this is so late to click it. I have to do it before. Is the steeled arrow. Why is it important to have that in this situation? Not because your arbaletier or your archers will strike stronger. Yes, of course, this is important for that, but also because this technology also applies for the town centers, for your outposts, for everything that is shooting arrows. So this is very, very important to have that in order that your TC does more damage to the units. For example, here his units has 6 armor for the distance armor, range armor, and I do like 8 damage. If I do the +1 and the +2, so the +1 I will do not 2 of damage but 3, and if I do the +2 I have 4 damage, so double the damage. This is very, very important when you are in that situation because you have a lot of arrows. You have, like here, for example, I have 14 arrows. So this is pretty much like 28 damage per shoot of more. This is very, very important. You have to do this technology while you're under attack like this. And I waited too long to do this. And as you can see, I had the resources to do it. So this is pretty bad. So here he chooses to go back. I think he made a mistake here because he could have stayed here for a long time. He wants to do more damage here, but I prevented it. I started to put a lot of outposts here. I can do a quick wall here to protect, and that's what I'm going to do, I think, about his raid. No? Yeah, I think I'm gonna do it, but yeah, I'm gonna do it. So this is pretty important to do. This is a great response from me. The problem is that he made a dock here because he sneaked some villager here, and I was only protecting this side with the patrol. I didn't protect here, so this is pretty good move from him. And as I was saying before, if he's here, well, this is pretty annoying because you have to do a lot of boats, and I'm too much concerned about what is happening here. So I don't do any defense right now on this side, and I will lose a lot of economy also here. So he has a pretty good multitasking, and this is very important on this map, of course, because you have to protect land, you have to protect also the water, you have to take all the lakes, you have to do a lot of economy. And yeah, this is a pretty cool stuff that I did, but I should have done it here. Like, for example, I put a wall here, and a wall here, and nothing can happen between my two goals. This is more important than just protecting one gold. I could have done it before, and it could have been very, very cool. As I have a good control of the water, because I also have good units as Arbalètrier, I can do a lot of units in order to be able to counter the opponent. I managed to take back the control, but it was very difficult. I was very far ahead, sorry, on the villager count, and now he's very far ahead from me. So he killed 27 of my villagers. I only killed 13. So yeah, this is kind of difficult. And right now what I'm thinking is that I have to do some damage to him, because now he doesn't have that much of resources in his units, because he lost a lot under my TC, but I didn't took into account the fact that he has more economy than me. So this is not good. I don't have to go out on the map like this. And also, what is very important, I think, in that kind of situation is, instead of going with your army, is just doing a scout. You do a scout, you see what your opponent has as an army, and then you see that you cannot do any damage. You see that he's on a second TC, and then instead of going in like this, you just want to do a second TC yourself in order to protect yourself. So this can be very interesting to do a scout, and maybe this is my main issue on most of my games. I lack some vision because I don't do a second scout while I lose my first one. So a little reminder also for yourself, be careful about that. And as I use all my army in order to see if what is going on, then my army is getting catched, because the mounted samurai moves faster, because the Onapugeisha moves very fast also, but my Arbalètriers are very slow. So the only unit that can flee is the veteran Royal Knights. This is the only units that can go out, and as you can see, my army is mainly some Arbalètriers, so I will lose everything here, and the game is kind of lost at this point because of that. I could have made... I think I could have tried to succeed to win this game if I had made the scout, if I made a second TC, if I waited a little bit before going out on the map, maybe put also a keep here in order to boost those different buildings, because with the French, when you do a keep near your archery range and your cavalry, you produce for less resources those units, so it can be very interesting. And also you have the defense, of course, so this is very, very interesting with them. But here I will lose everything, and the game is kind of over at this point because I lose too much of my units. I do pretty good work at kiting with my arbalètrier, hit and run. This is pretty good, but there is too much from my opponent. He has so many army, and at this point of this game I'm saying yeah, this is kind of screwed, but I try to stay alive. And also the main issue of what I'm doing here is that I go out without all my technologies, so this is very, very, very bad. I have to be careful about that, especially if I'm doing the Royal Institute, because the Royal Institute, the main goal of this landmark is to do all the technologies for less resources, but also because you have technologies that you are not supposed to have on H3. If you do not do the Royal Institute, you cannot have Royal Blood Knights on H3, you have it on H4, so it's very, very interesting to click it. If you do the Royal Institute and you do none of those technologies, well, you better do the other landmark because you can have a lot of resources during the game. So this is a very big mistake also from my side. And yeah, now the opponent can destroy me. It's kind of over. I should have waited. I should have stayed in my base, protect myself. It could have been better because my arbalètrier is a very good unit at defending, and also I could do a keep here, I could do a second TC, and yeah, this could have been better. I'm not very happy about this game, but we will see other games of my qualification, on the qualification of the EGC Masters. I will do other videos for my other games, so don't hesitate to subscribe here if you want to see my analysis of the games. And also I will do I did some cast also of this tournament. Don't hesitate to go and watch it. I will do a lot of different stuff on AoE 4. So yeah, if you're interested in interviews, casted games, analysis, some tutorials in order to help you improve in the game, don't hesitate to subscribe. I will be very happy to answer to you, and also don't hesitate to come and see me on Twitch. I'm mainly streaming in French, but if you come and ask questions in English, I'm very happy to answer to you, and sometimes I will do some stuff in English also during my streams. Okay, see you in the next one. Bye bye.